Hello and welcome back to DeVlog, and I'm here still at StrangeForms, and I'm here with Wayne from Big Lad. Hello. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good.
So you're this year's electronic
Party band?
Party, yeah, bringing the party.
Yeah, bringing the party.
Absolutely. Yeah. So last I caught you, you were doing your Pet Bricks at Arctangent.
Yeah.
I mean, how is that playing with that powerhouse of a drummer? I mean, Christ. Your electronics are heavy enough. Like, I was just like, whoa.
Yeah. It's it's great. Obviously, playing with Eagles, it's awesome. But like with Big Lad and stuff like that, it's just like I get to choose these amazing drummers that surround me. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's interesting having Big Lad and Pet Brick, as kind of two things, similar setups, but sonically it couldn't be more different.
Yeah, sure.
And that's down to the drummers. You know what I mean? Like Henry's super fast, super technical. Igor's kind of just brutality.
Yes.
So yeah, like obviously there's a legacy there. So playing with Igor is like, wow, this is cool. But from a musical point of view, it's awesome, but they pick two, different drummers just bring different things to the table.
So what's your sort of musical background? Are you from the dance music area, or are you from the rock area, or somewhere in between?
Somewhere in between. So yeah, like when I was a kid, I would 16, 17, was playing in bands and stuff like that. But then after that, it was like, I think I was about 20 at uni or something, and I got given a laptop because I was dyslexic. Obviously didn't use it for what I was supposed to be using it for.
Yeah, right.
And just installed a load of cracked music software and just started kind of producing electronic music. But this was like, I'm 44 this year.
Yeah,
so
right.
Kind of 24, 25 years ago. YouTube wasn't a thing.
No.
Blogs, tutorials wasn't a thing. So we just got given cracked software and we were just kind of left to our own devices.
Right.
And we were like, figure it out. And, I got a copy of Ableton 1.
Yes. Me too.
that ran on OS 9,
I'm still on it to this day.
Yeah, like it was that old. But yeah, there wasn't any instruction manuals how to do this stuff.
No.
There was no one out there telling you what was mixed correctly, what wasn't mixed correctly. So you just kind of pulled from what you knew. So I knew kind of band music. So I was like, well, I've got distortion pedals and drum machines and a computer to sequence it all. So that's what I started doing, just running kind of, drum machines through, crappy Boss pedals and stuff like that. And that was kind of how I started writing electronic music and just kind of got like caught up in the whole breakcore scene, not really knowing what breakcore was, and kind of came through on that kind of second wave of kind of breakcore, so kind of post-digital hardcore stuff. So I was playing with like Venetian snares and Chipman, and, kind of part of the Wrong Music crew from Brighton. So that was really where I cut my teeth, and we were kind of like the first generation of people that could take a laptop out to a gig and play live. And so, and that was kind of it. But again, it was like with Wrong Music, there was a lot of people that were coming from bands and stuff like that. So we brought a performance element.
Absolutely.
Rather than just kind of,
Yeah.
It was just like, actually, if you're going to play electronic music live, it's cooler to hit play on Windows Media Player, take all your clothes off and run around than it is trying to do some really technical shit, because actually you're going to engage the crowd.
Absolutely.
No one wants to watch, some white dude just behind a laptop.
Well, I remember back in the early days, we started in 1993, 601, and we were on Amiga 500s and stuff like that, running Octamed and what have you, and trying to do it live, like before we even understood MIDI.
Yeah.
And I think that punk rock side of dance music gets overlooked a little bit, because there's a lot of that grey area between dance music and like sort of punk, actually, because it was a very punky way to do things.
But like electronic music is punk.
It's DIY.
If you, exactly. You're at home producing music on your own. You can release it on your own. You don't need to go and pay for a studio. It's as DIY as it gets.
Yes.
And if you approach it from the right angle, then it's as punk as it gets.
Absolutely, it is.
And so that was always my kind of ethos with electronic music. And so Big Lad and Pet Brick were both kind of born out of that thing where it was just like, I never really, like, obviously I love Godflesh and stuff like that, but I always found it awkward watching bands playing to a drumming backing track. I always felt like it was like band karaoke or something.
Exactly.
And it felt very safe.
Yeah.
And so actually adding live drums to electronic music with
flipping the script.
Yeah, and without click tracks and backing tracks and anything like that, and kind of keeping the danger.
Yeah.
You know, like we played a gig in Manchester last night, and there's a couple of moments where it went really wrong. And yeah, sure, you think, oh man, I fucked up, but actually, it's important.
Yeah.
Because it keeps you on your edge. And,
yeah.
You know, it keeps you engaged with what you're doing. You know, you're not like, oh, I'm just gonna check my phone. You know, like you see DJs doing and stuff like that. It's like actually, you got to concentrate.
And it's performance.
Yeah, and it's a performance, and it can go wrong. And I kind of like it when it goes wrong sometimes because, you know, I remember playing Arctangent with Henry about 7 years ago or something like that, and you know I love Arctangent, but it was the first time like we dropped a complete clanger to the point where we had to start a song again. It went so wrong, and you know got off stage. Oh well, fuck it, you know, started the song again. It's fine. And I actually got an email being like, "Yeah, great set, but it's a shame you fucked up a song. You're just like fucking Arctangent."
Well, that's what happens when you perfect too much.
Yeah, exactly. But that's,
if a guitar band had done it.
Well, but you know what I mean. But that's also great. I'm like, yeah, it can go wrong.
Yeah.
You all just witnessed it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
And that's what I'm really loving at the moment with this breed of electronic artists that's built up over a while. And you see them like Akadeka and people like that, and it feels more live than. Like, because it's really hands-on and it's really visceral, and a lot of the bands play in the audience.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
In the case of Colossal Squid or something like that, you know, where he's really interacting with the audience, that feels way more live than a lot of when you see a metalcore band and they put on backing tracks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. You know, like I produce a lot of metal and stuff like that in my studio. And, you know, it's super privileged to do what I do. But yeah, and then live, you know, there's so much production involved in like modern metal and stuff like that. Now, taking it live is hard, you know, but I've always been a little bit of the kind of ethos where it's like, you know, like both can be good. They can be different.
Yeah.
But both have got to be good.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, that's it. Like they can be as different as you like, but you've got to be awesome on record and you've got to be awesome live.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't matter if even better if it's a different experience. Because then people have got a reason to buy the record and they've got a reason to come to your gig.
Absolutely. You know? And I think crowds at the moment in all genres are responding more to the more visceral live thing because it's been a bit safe for a while. So there's a few bands that are really shaking it up, like bands like Lambrini Girls or, you know, like yourselves, and that are just bringing that sense of danger to a gig, that sense of anything could happen.
Yeah, totally.
Which is what I get off on. I love that. You know, I saw Jesus Lizard not long ago, and I was just like, it felt dangerous. It felt like, oh wow, what might happen?
That band's always been dangerous.
You know, truly.
David Yow, man, what a guy. Love it.
Absolutely. So, I welcome people bringing that into the electronic music context because I've had 30 odd years in dance music, and now I've just decided to go back to my punk roots with everything. And playing it safe is no longer an option.
No, that's it. But I think, you know, in London, especially, like old school jungle and stuff like that is super popular right now. And the kids are coming through wanting to write music on Amigas, and you know, kind of they're digging out all these old tracks,
all the old Akais and shit,
and the old Akais and stuff, like, because it's engaging to write music that way. You know, like it's become so easy to write music now. You know, like Apple. Someone just scored a goal. But yeah, you know, it's become so easy to write music on a computer now.
Absolutely.
Like when I first started doing it was a challenge.
Yeah.
And that's what was fun. You know, when you're like, oh shit, I've written something that sounds like music.
Yeah.
You know?
But it had soul as well.
Yeah, it did. And, you know, it had its own personality. It was very easy, or it was easier to create your own style of electronic music.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Whereas now it's a bit, you know, kind of perpetual, you know, with the amount of sample packs and all of this.
It's very in the box.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, you just kind of like, it's great. Yeah, sure. You know, if people are like, yeah, you know, I get self-satisfaction out of this. But if you actually kind of want to push the boundaries a bit, you've got to find your own way.
Yeah.
It's the only way you can do it now.
Absolutely.
Don't read the instruction manual, you know. Don't watch YouTube, comments. Do what feels good, you know. And it's the same as playing guitar, you know. It's just the same thing. Just like, do what feels good.
Absolutely. I mean, there's been many times back in the day I'll be on Dogs on Acid forum, and there's the production forum would be telling you how to produce your snare and how to produce your kits. I'll be like, balls to that. Yeah. There is no way. No, it's what's right to you.
Yeah, exactly. And what it, you know, and every so often, you'd like, I'm quite into the whole new like drum and bass thing with the tiny snare, the little bip.
Yeah.
Some people hate it, but I'm like, it's mental.
Yeah.
I'm like, who decided that was a good idea? But it's really resonated with people, and people really, really like it. And you know, every so often, someone just does something. They're just like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind a bit of chasing status, you know.
Yeah. It's like, but then just sometimes you're just like, this kind of really obscure, weird production idea just becomes massive, but then everyone wants to do it again.
Yeah.
But every so often you just get something that changes the game.
Absolutely.
But so there's pros and cons.
Absolutely. We need more Mavericks.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for talking to me today,
No
mate.
worries, man.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Wicked.
Cheers.
Cool. Great, thanks.